Good morning. In this video, I've got my laptop because we're going to be looking at how much it costs to own a horse in the UK in 2025 using real data from hundreds of horse owners right now, real time in 2025. We're going to be using Equestrian Money Diaries, and I'm going to be taking you through every single breakdown from the Equestrian Money Diaries form. I'm currently in Dublin, Ireland. I was over here for work and it just felt like a great opportunity to get in front of the laptop and talk through this. We're nearly a quarter of the way into the year. Wow, that sun is bright. And so it feels like a good moment to see where we're at. If you're not familiar with Equestrian Money Diaries, it is a project that I set up a few years ago now. I was a horse owner, or I became a horse owner as an adult after just not being able to afford it throughout the rest of my life and my childhood. And when I was coming to that decision, I knew that it was going to be big financially. And so I wanted to make all the right decisions, but I couldn't find up-to-date and detailed information about the true cost of owning a horse. So I set up Equestrian Money Diaries. It is essentially an anonymous Google form that allows people from all over the world to share their costs completely anonymously. And I have now I think we're on the year 3 or 4, set up a spreadsheet. Gosh, my laptop is so dirty. I've set up a spreadsheet that allows you to go in, see all of that data as well as averages, and it is the averages that we are going to go through together today. In 2024, we have had 493 total diaries submitted across the world. 389 of those have been in the UK. We're going to start with setup. So do people own one horse, multiple horses, do they loan, etc. Then we're going to look at what type of livery people are on, so you can get a sense of like what is the setup of the data set. And then we're going to go into the different costs for bedding, feed, farriery, stuff like that. So 55% of people in this data set own a horse, 29% own multiple horses, 6% full loan, 7% part loan, and 1% ride at a riding school. 46% of people are on DIY, that's our biggest percentage, and it's pretty typical of the UK. DIY is very popular here. I know in the US it's much more popular to have horses on full board unless you own the yard. 10% are on part livery, 11% full livery. We've had one competition livery, so it's coming out as 0%. 14 people keep their horse on grass livery, which is 4%. 8% keep their horses at home, 1% keep their horses at work, and so far no one has shared a retirement livery. So in terms of monthly costs, we have a sliding scale from 0 to £100, going up in £100 increments until we hit £1,000, and then it goes £1,000 to £1,200, £1,200, £1,500. I used to let people share the exact number, but it became so difficult to clean the data and give you averages that I went back to a sort of sliding scale. So the majority of people, 31%, are spending between £100 and £200 a month on their livery. I'm going to share the full table with you here so that you can see all of those numbers and spend a bit of time. So pause the video as you would like to. In terms of yard facilities, 24% of people have an indoor school, 79% have an outdoor school, 86% have year-round turnout, which is really strong. We like to see that. It would obviously nice to be if it was 100%, but 86% is strong. 66% have lorry parking, 29% have a hot wash area, 16% have a solarium, 23% have a lunge pen, 20% have a horse walker, 53% are close to local competitions, and 61% have great hacking. Now, in terms of monthly feed costs, the majority of people, 26% of people, are spending between £25 and £50 on their monthly feed. Again, I'm going to share that graph with you here so you can pause and see all of the breakdowns of what people are spending. In terms of bedding, the majority of people, 47%, are using shavings, 33% are on straw, 16% use a wood-based bedding like pellets or chippings or sawdust. So far, I've only had one person who uses a paper-based bedding, and 26% have rubber matting. Now, rubber matting, it's a multiple choice, so you could be someone who uses straw and rubber matting, which slightly skews these percentages, but you get the general idea. And 50% don't use bedding because their horse lives out. In terms of bedding costs, 35% of people are spending nothing or have it included in their livery, and 21% are spending between £25 and £50. If you want to see the full breakdown, have a little look at the table now. In terms of farriery, the majority of people, 35%, keep their horse barefoot in the UK, according to these results and this set of data. Following that, it's 27% a full set of shoes, 15% have front shoes only, 3% have a full set and studs, and 1%, so 5 people, have speciality shoes. And the majority of those people, 26%, are spending between £25 and £50 on their farriery. To see the full breakdown of farriery costs, pause the video now. And finally, we're looking at insurance. So 40% of people have both horse and rider insurance, 22% have just horse insurance, 21% have just rider insurance, and 16% have neither. And the majority of diaries, 21%, are spending between nothing and £10 a month on their insurance. Now this tells me that the majority of those people should really be looking at only rider insurance, because that's a very low percentage. But I will say that I know lots of companies, including SEIB, who I'm partnered with, are offering cheaper insurance options these days. So things like their core insurance offering, which I'll put on screen so you can see it here, and a link to it in the show notes. If you want to see the full breakdown of what people are spending for insurance, have a little look at the screen now. Now let me know what you think of these. Does it align with what you see in your monthly costs? I mean, I know for certain that my costs are more expensive than average. I keep my horse on full livery and I spend quite a lot extra on training, etc. And what these averages don't take into account are things like training. Now, of course, I do have that in the full breakdown of all of the UK diaries, but it's hard to clean that data in a way that I can share with you, like, oh, people spend this much on travel, this much on riding lessons, etc. If this is interesting to you, let me know and I will do a video that follows up and goes into specific diaries, so one person's diary from beginning to end, looking at every single cost that they follow. But in the meantime, I hope that this was useful and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.